Hi everyone, Gabbs here, and yeah, I'm doing my own little one-off for the first time ever, and it's gonna be pretty neat, hopefully, because Deej's been doing a lot of them, and I want to get my feet in the water a little bit, get my toes in there, make sure it's a little warm, maybe a little cold, doesn't matter, I'll still jump in anyway, I don't really care, fuck the water. Anyway, so yeah, I watched a movie, and I'm doing a one-off of that now, because my Audacity's working, so there's that. And now I got my premiere that I got from my good friend Andrew, who's in our Deadpool episode, so there's that. Thank you very much to him. And I want to say thanks to Deej, because he's been doing a lot of the work here. And, he doesn't really get recognized for that, so yeah, thanks a lot. And also I want to thank Nick, who was in our Doctor Strange and Deadpool episode, because he helped me out with this stuff too. So there's all those guys, those three guys there, get all the thank yous, all the love in the world for helping me out to do all this stuff. So now I get to do all this. So you're probably asking yourself, hey Gabs, why don't you shut the fuck up and like review the movie that you were talking about that you saw? And I'm like, that's not a question. So the movie that I watched with my roommate, unfortunately, was the 2016 Ghostbusters. Now, you're wondering, why would you watch that horrible piece of shit? And I'm like, yeah, I wonder why too. So as you can see, I'm not the biggest fan of this movie. I don't think anyone really is. No, actually, my roommate Colin, who we mentioned in a couple episodes before, likes this movie a lot. Whatever, it's your opinion, man. Here's mine, because, it's what we do on the channel. So this movie is considered an action comedy fantasy movie, but overall this should be considered a shit movie. It's almost 2 hours of complete shit, and it's PG-13. Like, in the first 5 minutes, they do a fart joke, and so you can already see where this movie's going, and then they make a queef joke right after that, so there's that. And yeah, that's the level of comedy we're going with here. So yeah, the whole movie is Kristen Wiig is a professor, or she's starting her professor's job at a prestigious New York university. I don't think it is New York University, but I think it's just one of them, one of the very upscale ones there. And she wrote the Ghost book, and some of her colleagues are noticing this, so she's like, oh god, I can't have them all see this, why is it here? So she goes to Melissa McCarthy, good old Melissa McCarthy. She does no wrong. Anyway, she goes to her and is like, why would you publish this book even though I told you not to? And he's like, well, it's real. And like, no, it's not. Ghosts are fucking fake as shit. And then Kate McKinnon's there for whatever reason. Yeah, there's that. And then they go on this little ghost adventure in this one old ass building, and there's a ghost in there. There's a ghostly ghoul in there, and they find it and they start believing in ghosts, and then they try to capture the ghost. And then Leslie Jones is also in this movie, so I guess they try to make this movie as least funny as possible, the least amount of funny. You try to get you to laugh negatively. So you're not laughing at it for being so funny. You're laughing at it because it's just terrible. No, you won't even laugh at that. It's just, this movie's just not funny. I'll just say that right now. It's just not a funny movie. I laughed I didn't laugh at once. I got a little tickled. I will say that. I will admit that I got tickled at least 3 times, at most 3 times. So yeah, Chris Hemsworth is in this movie, and the one part that actually kind of made me smile was that he was talking about bringing his cat into the office because he's the secretary there, and yeah, so the cat's name is My Cat, and then they realize that it's not his cat, it's his dog whose name is My Cat, which is actually not a bad joke in my opinion. But then he went on to build upon the joke, which made it so much not funny that I actually regret smiling at that joke and honestly just want to take that back. Anyway, back to the story. So they recruit Leslie Jones because she knows New York well, and that's their excuse. And they realize that some guy is trying to bring ghosts into this dimension, and that's the whole plot. It's just not a good movie. It's the farthest thing from a good movie. It's the farthest thing from a movie in general. Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones are just the 4 least funniest women I think I know. I don't like any of them really. None of them were particularly good. The one that pissed me off the least was Kate McKinnon, but that's kind of everyone's opinion. Even though half the time I didn't understand what she was saying because she had an accent. I don't know why, but she did. Chris Hemsworth is just the eye candy for all the moms who want to go see this, even though no mom should have gone to see this and no mom was even interested in this movie. There's that. Bill Murray and all the original Ghostbusters cast members were in this movie. That was all terrible too, honestly. Like, there was no fun with them. Bill Murray dies, or it is inferred that he is dead. I think everyone mutually agrees that he's dead. Ernie Hudson's in this movie. He's at the end. He gets like 15 seconds. Sigourney Weaver gets 15 seconds in the credits, and that's her thing. Dan Aykroyd gets 15 seconds at the end, and he's in the cab, and he's doing his wild and crazy guy's impression as the cab driver. And then he says, "I ain't afraid of no ghost." So I was supposed to make everyone in the theater go, "Yay, he said it! Hey, there you go!" And no one does because no one saw this movie. No one that I know saw this movie, except for my roommate, Colin, which I just mentioned before. What else did I not like about in this movie? Pretty much everything, besides everything else. But yeah, the one thing I wanted to talk about was the jokes in this movie, because like they weren't funny in the first place, but they kept going on as if they were funny to try to make them even funnier, but they just kept doing that, so they were just less and less funny. So the joke was like 0% funny, and then like it just got to like negative percentages where like it was just like killing me slowly while watching this movie. So yeah, the jokes are not jokey joke. They're bad. They're very, very bad. Yeah, and the one thing I actually did like in this movie was the gadgets. They really go a little farther than I expected with them. They actually really did give some thought into it, and I also like the car they drive around in, the Ghostbusters mobile. I know it's not what it's called. It's called the Ecto one, but I like how it's a hearse. I think it makes more sense. It makes a lot of sense. Like, it's a car that I would actually think would be a good one, because I know that in the first two they were like nurse ambulances or something like that. That was those are both. I mean, the Ecto one is like one of the more infamous movie cars, and this one's like, I mean, it's still a good idea. Like, I like the fact that it's a hearse. So that's the only one. That's really the only thing I liked in this movie. Villain was pathetic because all he said was the same 5 things over and over again. I couldn't even tell you what his name was, because I guess they just didn't care. So yeah, I know we did like a video on this before, and we kind of like thought about what this movie would be like if it were good, and I can already tell you right now that that's, you don't have to listen to that part ever again because it wasn't good. Yeah, right now it's just like, right now, like, if you don't know why I'm talking so softly and sensually, is because I'm in a little study room in my university's School of Business, and there's a study room here. But the one thing I also wanted to mention was Deej reminded me that I gave 10 Cloverfield Lane a 1, so I kind of wanted to like change that, because like thinking about it now, I'm like, I probably shouldn't have like given it like a 1, but I checked again and I gave it a 1.5, but that's still like, that movie doesn't really deserve that low of a rating. So I'm changing that to a 4 out of 10, because like there's a good movie in there. I know there is. I probably been going back on stuff I said, but fuck it, you just gotta say fuck it every once in a while. I should have said fuck it when Colin recommended we watch this movie, but yeah, they bust one ghost, and that ghost gets away, so they don't even bust a ghost in this movie. Yeah, in the end, the action scene at the end, this is all like one big mess. I'm gonna like try to like put it all together. Yeah, this whole, like, the ending is one big mess, because like they don't even like bust the ghost. They kind of like just like push them off to the side and hope they don't come back. Yeah, I'm not gonna like talk about this movie that much, just because like I don't want to talk about this movie this much, because it doesn't deserve to be talked about, because it's just so terrible. Is it one of the worst movies of this year? Oh, absolutely. Is it worse than Batman v Superman? Not really, because at least that movie had like, anticipation with it. There's people anticipated that movie was going to be good. No one did with this one. So yeah, this movie is going to get a 2 out of 10. I would have 2 ghosts bust me instead. I would have 2 ghosts come and possess me and throw myself off a cliff. And yeah, that's my score. This is Gabbs for the Cinema Dash. This is my first one-off, and thanks for watching.